You know that feeling when someone's watching you? That prickling sense of eyes on your back. That's how it started. I was in my garage-turned-workshop, a converted metal building at the edge of my property. It wasn't fancy, just well-secured, climate-controlled, and very, very private. To the HOA, it looked like a garage. To everyone else, it was just a plain windowless building behind a chain-link fence. But inside, I kept tools, surveillance equipment, encrypted drives, and evidence from my consulting cases with federal agencies. I was a digital forensics contractor, cybercrime, asset recovery, sometimes darker things, the kind of stuff people don't talk about in book clubs, and definitely not something I ever discussed with my neighbors. Then came the knock. A sharp rap that had entitlement baked into every decibel. I opened the steel door halfway, careful to block the view inside. "Can I help you, Karen?" Her name's actually Cheryl, but the community called her HOA Karen since the first time she wrote someone up for putting the wrong shade of mulch in their flower bed. Shoulder-length blonde bob, clipboard in hand, Prada sunglasses she didn't pay for, and a self-importance level approaching nuclear. "Yes," she said, stepping forward like she owned the place. "We've received multiple complaints about this structure. It's not compliant with HOA aesthetics. I need to inspect the interior." I blinked. "Excuse me." She pushed her sunglasses onto her head. "This building violates neighborhood code. I'm on the HOA board. I have the authority to, you don't have the authority to enter private property." Her eyes narrowed. "Unless you're hiding something, I don't see why you'd be so defensive." I almost laughed. "Hiding something? Lady, I'm storing federal evidence from an interstate criminal ring in here." I kept my face neutral. "You're not allowed inside. Period." That's when she stepped back and pulled out her phone. "Fine. If you won't cooperate, I'll call the HOA legal rep and report this obstruction." I started to close the door. "Have a good day, Cheryl." "Karen," she snapped as the door shut between us. I checked the surveillance footage. She didn't leave. Instead, she paced for 15 minutes, talking to someone on the phone, pointing toward the structure, even trying to photograph it through the gate. I should have reported it then because the next time she came back, she didn't knock. She broke in. And that's when everything went from annoying to illegal. 3 days later, I came back from a client meeting to find the gate to my workshop hanging open. The padlock snapped clean. The steel door pried back, dented near the handle, my blood boiling. I drew my phone immediately, pulling up the security feed from my cloud backup. I had 6 cameras outside the building, 8 inside, all rolling 24/7. Rewind. Pause. There. Karen, caught in glorious 4K, wearing her tennis outfit, oversized tote bag slung over one shoulder, and a pair of gloves like she was about to garden or rob the place. She didn't just enter. She snuck in, glancing around like a discount movie villain. No warrant, no permission, no idea what she was walking into. She moved through the entryway, then took out her phone and started snapping pictures of everything. Walls, cabinets, even the floor mats. Then she made a beeline for the secured locker at the back. That's where I store encrypted drives and sealed evidence packages from active federal cases. And by sealed, I mean sealed with FBI-issued tamper-proof bags and traceable QR codes. Karen, of course, had no clue. She pulled at one, tugged hard enough to nearly tear it. That was enough. I drove straight to the police station and requested to file a trespassing and attempted theft report. When the officer saw the footage, his eyebrows hit his forehead. "You said this is what kind of building?" I handed over my contractor credentials. "Federally registered digital evidence repository. I work with interagency cyber crime task forces." He exhaled slowly. "So she just broke into a federal evidence locker?" "Correct. And tried to tamper with it." "Also correct." He shook his head. That's a felony. Multiple, actually. They sent a patrol car within the hour. I watched from a distance as they knocked on Karen's door. She answered, all smiles, until they showed her the footage. Then the screaming started. You can't arrest me. I'm on the HOA board. I have rights. Didn't matter. She was cuffed on her porch in front of 3 neighbors and 1 very judgmental golden retriever. As they escorted her to the cruiser, I got a message from the HOA president. Please call me ASAP. What the hell happened? Oh, I'd tell them. But I wasn't done yet because Karen had tripped something far bigger than HOA violations. She had compromised a federal site. And now the agencies I worked with were getting involved. And when they get involved, they don't play nice. By the next morning, my phone had exploded with calls. HOA reps, neighbors, even Karen's husband. Everyone wanted to know what happened. I didn't answer. Instead, I forwarded the security footage, timestamps, and police report to my federal liaison. 2 hours later, I got a call back from Agent Keller, a no-nonsense investigator with Homeland Security's Cyber Division. You sure she touched the sealed evidence? He asked. On camera, I replied. Tried to rip one open. Jesus, a pause. You know that compromises the chain of custody. We're going to have to move the material. And her? He chuckled. She's in deeper than she knows. See, Karen didn't just trespass. She interfered with federal investigations tied to wire fraud, crypto laundering, and dark web trafficking. Evidence inside that locker was connected to 3 open cases, some of which involved dangerous people who didn't want their names exposed. Karen thought she was busting me for non-compliant citing. What she actually did was commit a federal fields crime punishable by up to 5 years in prison per count. The Fed sent a mobile team that afternoon. Black vans, unmarked agents, suits, gloves, earpieces, like a movie scene, but real. They resecured my workshop, inventoried everything she touched, and relocated sensitive items to an off-site facility. I stood back as Agent Keller finished taping off the entryway. She have any idea what she walked into? None, I said. She thought she was enforcing lawn codes. He laughed grimly. Well, she's about to learn what the real codes look like. Title 18, U.S. Code. Then came the kicker. Keller told me the DOJ was considering adding obstruction charges because Karen had photographed and attempted to document the building's layout. That constituted potential intelligence gathering on a secured site, even if unintentional. In other words, Karen wasn't just being charged like a nosy neighbor. She was being treated like someone meddling in a federal operation. By that evening, the story had spread, not from me, but from the cops and agents who'd come through the neighborhood, like a breeze of judgment and consequence. Neighbors stopped me in the street. She really broke into that building? She said it was just a shed. No one knew you worked for the government. I smiled and shrugged. I don't advertise it. Karen, meanwhile, was held overnight. Her husband tried to post bail, but the charges had already escalated: tampering, trespass, interference, obstruction. And the best part? The HOA tried to distance themselves fast. But I wasn't done with them either. They enabled her. They encouraged her. Now they were going to answer for it. 3 days after the break-in, I received a certified letter from the HOA. It wasn't an apology. It was a warning. They claimed my use of the property posed a security concern to the community and that hosting federal materials on-site may be grounds for violation of neighborhood agreements. I almost choked, laughing. They were trying to turn Karen's felony into my violation. Bad move. I drafted a response, but instead of mailing it, I walked into the next HOA board meeting with 2 unexpected guests, Agent Keller and a U.S. attorney. The board's smug expressions evaporated the moment those 2 flashed credentials. I calmly set a folder on the table. Inside, printed stills from the security footage, DOJ documentation verifying the site's compliance with federal storage protocols, and a formal notice of pending charges against Cheryl, Karen, Wallace. Then, Agent Keller spoke. This property has been federally cleared for evidence containment under secure contractor status. Your board member trespassed, interfered with federal evidence, and will face prosecution. Any attempts to penalize or retaliate against the property owner will be viewed as obstruction. Silence. The HOA president stammered, "We had no idea." "Your member did," I interrupted. "She walked in here demanding access. You backed her. You wrote me up for citing color, tool noise, and now federal clearance." The U.S. attorney added, "If this harassment continues, we're prepared to take legal action against the HOA under civil rights and obstruction statutes." Karen's husband, seated in the back, looked like he wanted to disappear into his chair. Then came the best moment. The president finally blurted, "What do you want from us?" I stood. "I want her off the board. I want the false violations rescinded, and I want a formal statement clearing my name, or this goes to court." They voted on the spot. Karen was removed unanimously. My property was deemed within full rights. The warning letter. Shredded and erased from record. The apology. Hand-delivered. And Karen? Within weeks, she was charged with 3 felonies. Plea deal or not, her record would never be clean again. The woman who once bragged about keeping the neighborhood in order was now a disgraced ex-HOA board member facing federal sentencing. But my favorite part? A message she sent weeks later, "I'm sorry. Please ask them to go easy. I didn't know." I replied with just 2 words, "You shouldn't have." Sometimes karma doesn't knock. Sometimes it picks the lock, presses record, and brings backup. And if you thought Karen was done after this, oh no, it gets worse. If you're loving these real-life revenge stories, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss the next chapter. Drop a like if you think Karen finally got what she deserved, and leave a comment telling me how you would have handled her. Trust me, the next twist, you won't believe.